Is Comcast facing a subscriber meltdown? This is MacVoices. Today's edition of MacVoices is supported by Zocdoc. Find doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, and are available when you need them. Download the free Zocdoc app at zocdoc.com/MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. The MacVoices Live panel wraps up this conversation as they discuss Comcast, the fact that they are increasing rates, losing subscribers, or not signing up new subscribers. Let's go back and let the panel do the talking. The next thing I had on the agenda, this one David brought in, and David, I'll let you talk about it while I throw it in the chat room from Ars Technica, that Comcast wants internet users to pay more because customer growth has stalled.
Yeah. This kind of motivated me. I saw it because I am using AT&T fiber now. So, but Comcast has just been gouging us for years, and it just disgusts me how they sit and try to make money off you. You got to call them every year to get back on the package, all that stuff. But this article basically was talking about is Comcast has a problem that they aren't signing up any more clients, aren't more customers. You know, I mean, they have a mere 32 million residential and business subscribers, but they in the last quarter here they failed to add any. And you always are seeing all the time, and I've been in the Comcast stores a bunch of times here lately. It's helping with setting up stuff for my parents when they moved and all that stuff. That they're pushing their Xfinity Mobile. They want you to buy into their mobile. That's where they make a lot of money, as we know, because T-Mobile, AT&T, all of them, make a decent amount on this. So, but it's frustrating to see this, and it just especially I've been a loyal customer for a long time, and you want to do something like this. I mean, they haven't done anything as of yet, but you kind of wonder, this is something that they could really pull and start charging people more for services, and they have bandwidth caps and speed limitations and all the other stuff that you're already putting up with. But then and the TV services, unfortunately, they're hard to beat because a lot of people like their services for TV services anyway, because they're easy to use. My wife would be a good example of that, because their platform is very easy. She's used to it. She's comfortable with it. And you try to introduce a YouTube TV or some of the other services out there, it's always very challenging. So you really can't beat what they offer. But okay, why do you want to start gouging your existing customer base of 32 million? Being the largest internet provider in the country in the United States here. So I'd like to hear what everyone else thinks as far as what they're doing with Comcast, and why would they even consider this? And Ars Technica,
they want to make more money
because they can.
Yeah, exactly.
I think there's another aspect to this that we talked about a little bit last week about Apple services, those prices going up too. Right. I'm not justifying what Comcast is doing, so don't. I'm not siding with them, but I think we're going to be seeing a lot of these services, internet services and otherwise, that are going to start kind of tweaking up pricing a little bit. I think inflation's part of it. Yeah. I can get into the economics of being in a low interest rate environment for a long time. Trust me, I got that in spades in my business. It's funny. One of the things that we do in my business was we do commercial mortgages. Did a commercial mortgage today for 6 1/8 interest. Last time I saw that was 2012. So prices are going to go up because they've been staying low for a long time. I'm going to contend that they've been staying artificially low, but I won't get into the politics of that. But I just think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see pricing going up. I'm not justifying Comcast. And Jim, you even said that Twitter's going to have their $1 billion debt service they're going to have to meet. There are lots of reasons why, but I think overall you're going to see prices go up.
Well, I think part of the difference here, though, is with Apple and a lot of the other internet-only services, their prices are going up because it's costing them more to provide those services. In this particular case with Comcast, it was that they're not signing up new customers. So in order to make more money, they have to charge their existing user base more. And that's a whole different animal than just your costs have gone up. That's
but do you think that's a headline? And
well, it's what happens when the accountants take over versus the engineers and the people that generally start tech companies. And it's what's happened with Microsoft, it happened with Apple, it happened with like every tech company that's out there. Once the accountants take over, they start thinking about is, well, how can we make more money off of our user base instead of how can we provide better services to our user base? And that's where Comcast is going right now. And it sucks.
Well, I think, I'm going to say the opposite. I don't want to defend Apple, but I don't think there's any equivalence between Apple or any streaming service raising their prices and Comcast, or an ISP raising their prices. The ISPs are monopolies, and for a large percentage of their customers are either Comcast customers or they don't have internet at all. There's no alternate. You either pay whatever we ask, or you don't get internet, which is really not an option. So I can not have Apple Music or Apple Streaming or any of those Apple services. I cannot not have internet. Now, fortunately, I'm in a community that is not served by Comcast and actually is served by multiple internet providers, but that's pretty unusual. So, the problem is that, these ISPs have regulatory capture and legislature capture. They've made it illegal in a lot of states, even for communities, to set up their own broadband. They're basically just set up to extract whatever, their policy is. Oh, you still have money? What's that doing in your account? That needs to be in our account. That's really what their policy is.
Well, what we're going to probably see is the same thing that's happened with cable television. Once people realized, a large percentage of people realized that you could pick and choose what services you wanted to use, because I was paying close to $250 a month for cable TV. And I mean, I'm not paying that much less now just because of how, all that is shaken out. But cable TV is not the thing that it used to be. And little by little, it's going away. And that's because a lot of times they price themselves out of their own market.
Yeah, except now they're like, oh, we're just going to get it back to you on the other end. Those people that dropped cable TV, what are they using now for TV? They're using streaming over internet from that same provider.
And a lot of people
you're very fortunate. Most people don't have that choice. Whether it's TV or internet, they have one choice, and they're going to pay whatever that provider says they're going to pay. Full stop.
Yeah. Brittany, I want to make sure you get in here.
Yeah, cable used to be, when that was our primary way to get extra entertainment beyond the, antenna, was a legal monopoly. And in many places, that's still true. In many places, Comcast is your only choice. I know that. Or you can do like the super, super slow line. Like those are your two choices. If you want, you could try satellite, but it gets disrupted all the time, especially if you've got lots of trees around you. Your options are really limited. And so there are plenty of people who don't have a choice. At this house, there's no choice. Our only other option is like using one of those cell phone providers. And my video usage means that that's not an option because we go through a terabyte of data a month. And so it's not possible. So a lot of people are stuck. And that's the only reason that they're with Comcast. There are some people, I don't think it's like the tooth fairy, satisfied Comcast customers exist. I just don't know very many of them. And so lots of people are just literally stuck.
Yeah.
Eric, where do you stand on this?
The problem is there also are users that have no internet access. So all of the rural internet users out there, the ones who want internet access, the ones who are still holding out hope that their dial-up modem will be supported for another 2 years because that's what they have, or the really slow DSL. There are a whole pile of grants that are in progress right now to try and do rural internet. And one of the components of the grants is to say, well, what is minimal internet? And the definition has been wrong for quite a while. For a lot of the new grants coming out, they're saying, well, you should have at least 100 megabits down and 100 megabits up, which nobody in a rural area for the most part has gotten up until now. It's been 768 up and, two down if you're lucky. And then maybe if you paid a bunch of extra money, you got 10 down and 768 up. And if you paid a lot extra and you're really lucky and you're one of the 6 people that could get a dedicated switch at the phone company, you could get, 60 megabits down and 10 up. But that's not enough to really function. So it irritates me when you get a company that's got a monopoly and you have regulatory agencies out there that aren't able or have been blocked or aren't doing their jobs to push access out. I mean, it should be like electricity, where if somebody wants to have a network connection, they should be able to get a network connection, and they shouldn't have to pay $200,000 to do it. That the companies that are providing service should have to go out to the surrounding areas and provide service. Grants seem to be available, but they're not being accepted by companies that don't see a long-term profit in going after it. It should be part of the responsibility of being the company to push out. There are companies that will advertise, yep, we will sell you high-speed internet service. And they will. You don't get it, but they'll sell it to you. And the fact that they offer it means that you don't qualify for the federal grant, so they won't bring a new service in because you already are being offered service from the company. The only way to qualify is to get the service, log what you've got for actual bandwidth, and then go back into whoever has the current grant in the area and try to get them to extend it based on your actual performance, which is nuts.
You ran into a lot of
right now, but
yeah, I mean, you ran into a lot of issues there. I mean, the rural internet issue is a big one. The regulatory thing. I think it's kind of unconscionable. And David referenced this, but it's unconscionable that I can't go to the website and say, okay, you want residential at this speed, here's what it's going to cost you. And we talked about this. I think Jeff Gamet was on the show one time. He was doing research, as he does, during the live show, where, you can find out, I can get a bundle and I can save $35 on the bundle, but I never know what I'm saving $35 on. So is it I'm saving 35 off 100 or 35 off of 500?
Or how about the fact that you can be thinking about buying a house, you can go onto their website, look up the address, and they say, yes, you can get service to this house. Then you buy the house, and they're like, no, there's no service to that house.
Right.
And it's not purchasable at any price, or it's going to be $20,000.
Yeah. I mean,
the bundles are a mess.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about being able to get service at all.
Well,
you're talking about the bundles. I'm sorry.
I mean, somewhere I think we started this part of this conversation with transparency, and it's like, just if set your price, and then we'll take it from there. But it seems like the prices, and I understand the incentives. and the sales and the specials, that's fine. But they should be documented and they should be consistent. It shouldn't be that I call today at 10 a.m. and David calls at 11 a.m. and we get two different prices.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't make any sense. No other industry could get away with that.
The airlines do.
I was going to say, what about airlines?
Interesting comment, Webb. Don't you see that as just a little bit more of supply and demand?
Hotel rooms too. You can get a different price on the hotel room depending on when you call.
Well, and I understand your supply and demand point, and I don't know if the problem that I have with the airlines is that they have pricing actuaries. They're not just trying to figure out what they're doing. They're taking people from my industry and figuring out pricing on an airplane. And you've heard the old story. You can take 5 people on any airline. Say, what did you pay for your ticket? You're going to get 5 different prices. It's just crazy how the airlines do their pricing. And yeah, there's supply and demand that's part of it too. Pricing is a little stabilized now coming out of the end of the pandemic at the endemic stage. They're gouging everybody for airline tickets right now. But anyway.
Today's edition of MacVoices is supported by Zocdoc. Find local doctors who take your insurance at Zocdoc.com/MacVoices. Yes, that's right. Go to Zocdoc.com/MacVoices, find the doctor that's right for you, and book an appointment in person or remotely that works with your schedule. Not their schedule, your schedule. With Zocdoc, you can find the right doctor for you in your network and in your neighborhood. One that makes you feel like you're in good hands, you're supported, and that you're heard. And that's what you want in a doctor. That's what you need in a doctor. Go to Zocdoc.com/MacVoices and download the Zocdoc app for free. Then start your search for a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's Zocdoc.com/MacVoices. Thanks to Zocdoc for their support of MacVoices. I know what you're saying, and you and I both work in an actuarial-driven industry, which will drive you crazy.
Unfortunately,
yeah. So I don't know. I mean, but and the other point, of course, I think that somebody brought up, or everybody brought up, is the monopolistic aspect of it.
Yeah,
and that's that's a shame. I mean,
I'm very fortunate in this house that I'm in right now that I have 3 different channels for internet service. Okay, I got an AT&T service that I can go with. Spectrum is our cable TV provider. I can go with that, or I'm using Google Fiber, which I like. So I'm fortunate. I got 3 choices, and they kind of busted through the monopoly in different ways here locally. But there is a monopolistic attitude, and like Jim said, some areas you only have one, and some you have not even that. So,
well, it was good that Google Fiber was able to finally bust through, but they still haven't done it in a lot of the larger markets. Other than they do the web pass thing, where you can go if you live in a high-rise building, you can get in their package and get Google Fiber that way. But you don't see it like you have a web as far as residential type service.
Yeah.
With Google Fiber. Luckily, AT&T is finally starting to get smart and opening up their infrastructure like they did here.
I do predict, remember, I was the one who predicted that Elon wasn't going to close the Twitter deal. I do predict that Google's going to get tired of being in the home fiber business, and they're going to sell that off to an AT&T or someone. I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. So they're very hesitant to expand into new cities right now. And, it is just obscenely expensive to start up a new internet service like that. And what they had to do to drop fiber in the neighborhood, much less that last 100 feet, is really expensive.
Well, and it's, let's give the devil their due. I mean, Comcast does have an expensive infrastructure. So if fiber or not, I mean, even just to run copper is, expensive to do. So, but here's the interesting thing, especially, and it just happened to me, I guess earlier this week, I got an email from Comcast that said, "Hey, we're increasing your speed at no extra cost." Now, I haven't seen my bill yet, so I've got to check to see if it's at no extra cost, but that's what they claim. But, part of me says, okay, so if you've got the extra speed, did you upgrade your gear and that's why? Or are you just turning it up where you wouldn't, I would have either had to have to buy a business class connection. I mean, what changed? Or is this the way they're fighting people signing off?
Fiber infrastructure is way cheaper than copper in 2022 and has been for quite a while.
But you still have the trenches to dig, Jim. You still have a lot. I mean, the actual fiber may be, but you still have all the other.
The fiber, the communication boxes, the labor is actually. My father-in-law used to be in that business, and he said it turned their costs, just revolutionized it.
Yeah, Comcast has done that to me for years. And they would think, "Oh, we increased your speed." I think the latest one is probably 600 to 800. So they did do a lot of speed increases, and then the installation of fiber here in my area, a lot of it was on the poles. So they had to do a lot of above ground work, which I would think tends to be a little easier than digging to put it below ground. So. But Comcast has done it quite a few times for me over the years, so that's surprising you hadn't seen that.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know that there are any right or wrong answers to some of this stuff, but if you got to look at it, you got to talk about it, figure out what, just like the Twitter thing, what is it worth to you? How are you using it? Where do you want to go from here? Brittany, I feel bad because I'm not sure that you got here on the Twitter thing. And I did want to ask you, since sort of circling back, would you pay for Twitter a month? And what would you pay for Twitter if you would pay?
Since I get on Twitter embarrassingly little, probably not.
Okay.
But a monthly charge is pretty hard to swallow. Whereas if it were a popular thing, then if it were a thing that I needed to for whatever reason, I could see buying into it, which is also a different level of commitment than an ongoing payment. I realize it doesn't cover server costs and stuff like that, but yeah.
Okay. Just curious.
I heard the discussion and I had a lot of thoughts, like what everybody wants out of Twitter is different. So whether or not something like Mastodon or like micro.blog, whether or not those things can replace it depends entirely on what you want out of the platform you're using.
Apparently, Jim wants brushfire information.
When
Here?
I see smoke, I do. At the moment, I don't see any, so I don't need any.
We're glad, Jim.
I was going to say ours actually might be dying. I'm really excited.
You're what?
Fire.
Oh,
the
good.
Fire that's been going on for like 3 months or whatever.
Yeah, start to get a little cleaner.
When I was talking to somebody who advises small business owners, and one of the things that they had said was that Twitter is not the place to grow an audience anymore. It's fine if that's like if you're looking to promote, it's not a place to grow an audience. And so that use of it, like she recommended that for our ADHD guild that we not invest our energy there. If we're going to have it automatically post from something on Instagram, that was fine. But for audience growing, she really strongly recommended Twitter or Instagram and to not spend as much time on Twitter because audience haven't grown. And
did you mean TikTok?
TikTok. What did I say?
You said Twitter.
Twitter and Instagram.
I meant TikTok. They both start with T's. It's really unfair.
That's why I knew what you probably
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jim.
I have said the wrong thing so many times today. I'm trying to get back from
TikTok
vacation brain. Anyway, we have posted most of our Instagram posts to Twitter and gotten, not even a third of the followers that we got on Instagram. So our little experiment has sort of borne that out for whatever it's worth.
Yeah.
But how about you got me doing
Twitter compared to Instagram?
Yeah, but how about TikTok? We
haven't done that.
You haven't done that yet.
Not for the guild. I am working on forming my TikTok experiments, but it is work in progress.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Hey, great discussion, guys. Thank you. I think we looked at a lot of things. The chat room has been kind of quiet in places. Frank says he received the same email from Comcast last week. So yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, we all have. I got it too.
Yeah. Let's go around the
we
table.
Upgraded to business, so because we have such terrible Wi-Fi here.
Right.
It's just as bad in almost every room of the house as it was before. And it costs $30 more a month.
But what are you using for a router?
There's plus two hardwired extensions that they drilled holes to set up. Anyway, it's all garbage.
I would recommend something like Eero.
Yeah,
that didn't work either. The difference is that their support people didn't suck to talk to. That was really the main difference with Eero. Yeah,
they were great.
Yeah, no, they were great. They were awesome. Every other router sucks to talk to their tech support.
I thought you meant Eero. I'm like,
everyone other than Eero sucks to talk to. And they were great to talk to, but they didn't solve the problem. So, and it's possible we would have done it eventually, but anyway. I don't think it's on an ancient burial ground, but there are issues somehow with this house and Wi-Fi that it just does not like.
Any unusual construction material?
No.
Poltergeist.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Besides,
say that.
The only person who's died in this house loved technology. He would never interfere with it.
Have you considered an exorcism?
Yeah.
Get that M2. Get that M2.
M2.
I can't. It's not in the computer I prefer.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It will be.
Right there with you, Brett. Yeah.
That's what it's okay. This is a great computer. I've got no complaints. Why would I need to upgrade it?
I know, and I'm afraid it will become available on the computer that Brittany and I prefer. That's my fear.
Didn't I tell you I wasn't going to buy any Apple products this year, and then I got a watch? I mean, obviously, I'm not made of stone either.
I was that way with microphones.
When? Oh, right, you did have that as a New Year's resolution, and I asked you how long it was going to last. How long did it last?
A minute.
About 3 months.
Okay.
Oh no way!
That's longer than many gym memberships.
You bought it right in January when we talked to you.
I think
no, but that was the last one.
It was like a week and a half.
Like a week and a half, yeah.
Yeah, come on.
It has been a minute since I've seen you guys.
I don't admit to that at not
Yeah, I was going to. I noticed he's not denying it.
I'm just saying I don't admit.
Let's go back to the video and
yeah.
Go to the replay.
Oh. Guys, thank you very much. This has been a lot of fun. Let's go around the room and let folks know where they can find you, and then we'll get out of here. So I'm going to reverse it and start with Mr. Bixby. Webb, thank you for being here. I'm glad you got your camera straightened out. Where can folks connect with you?
Well, I haven't gotten my camera straightened out. I just got a different camera. So anyway, normally if Twitter's still around next week, it's Webb Bixby, one word, WEBBIXBY. At Twitter, and it's Facebook, it's Webb Bixby, 2 words, WEBBIXBY. That's it. Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you, Webb. Good to see you. Ms. Brittany, thank you for making it. I know that you were a little late, but that's okay. It's always good to have you and hear your thoughts. What's the best place or places for folks to connect with you?
Right now, far more interesting than my Twitter, which is not usually very interesting at all, is YouTube, where I've been posting videos every week, which Chuck was nice enough to have me on to talk about. I tried an experiment this week, and I would love feedback on it. And negative feedback is okay too. But it's where I randomly select one of my many, many shortcuts and dive into it for like 2 minutes and then either keep it or trash it. So I would love feedback if anybody gets a chance to look at one of those. And that's AD Deliberator if I didn't say it, because of course my brain and mouth are not connecting today.
Well, and as Brittany said, she was the guest on a dedicated edition of MacVoices where we talked about her videos and everything. And the conversation was very diverse. It was a lot of fun. So if you haven't checked it out, by all means go. I believe it went out last Friday, if memory serves.
Yeah.
Mr. Searle, I think it's going to be Guy Mike Searle. I don't know what your middle name really is, but it should be Mike.
It's Barrett, actually.
Barrett?
I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea where that came from.
Okay.
Yeah. So over on Twitter, if that's where you want to find me, I am Mac Parrot, Vert Shark, and Guy and Gaz over there on the Twitters. You can find me on the mymac.com podcast with Gaz, as well as Guy's Daily Drive, where I drive in my car and go to work and film the whole experience. It's much more exciting than it really sounds. My email address is guy@mymac.com. And what else? I think, there's the Vert Shark channel over there on the Tubes of You, as well as the Guy's Daily Drive feed over there in Podbean. And that should about cover most of it.
Great. Thank you, Barrett. Barrett? Okay.
Yeah.
You don't look like a Barrett.
I know. I never felt like a Barrett.
Yeah. I don't know what a Barrett feels like.
Does anyone look like a Barrett?
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody somewhere.
They said,
whoever that Arctic Sea is named after.
Yeah.
It's got to be Norwegian. That's the only thing I can figure out.
That sounds like it might be.
Sounds Norwegian.
Yeah. I know what Eric looks like, and he's right there. Eric Bolton, thank you so much for being here. Yeah. Well, where can we connect with you?
And I'm still very much on Twitter at EA Bolton. Although I might start adding some other links into my profile at some point if I ever get any of my other locations working.
Good. Well, let us know. Let us know. Mr. Ray, I'm delighted you're not on fire. Where can folks catch up with you?
Oh!
Well, as long as the DNS system keeps working, you'll definitely be able to find me at provue.com, provue.com. And for the moment, you can definitely find me on Twitter at ProVueJim, same spelling. And I just had to check to see what it was. Might not see it right away, but you can also reach me at Jim Ray, JIMREA, on micro.blog.
Excellent. Excellent. Little micro.blog plug there. There we go. Thank you, Jim. Mr. Ginsburg, thank you for being here, and thank you for the Comcast article. It spawned a good discussion. Where can folks connect with you?
Thanks, Chuck. You can find me at In Touch with iOS at intouchwithios.com. You can find me on the YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/intouchwithios. I'm on the Mac Show on the British Tech Network, although I'll be missing it this week because of vacation. But you also can find me on Twitter at DaveG65 and In Touch with iOS. Thanks.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices Live. We do this 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night. We'd love to have you join us in the chat room at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV. A reminder, as I said at the top of the show, tomorrow night, let's get it right this time, November 2nd. November 2nd at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, we're doing a special Mac Voices Live Take Control event with Josh Senders, the author of Take Control of iOS 16 and iPadOS 16. You're going to be able to submit your questions, comments, thoughts, concerns in the chat. Josh is going to try to find the answers for you or help you get the answers, tell you what you need to know. We'd love to have you join us, and it's a little bit of an experiment, so we're going to see how it works out. So please come and help us make it a success. With that, and until the next time, as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with Mac Voices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.